Satan is hot in Hollywood this season. Got the latest body modification news. It's tattooed eyeballs. And a long overdue update on the Rocky Mountain Prophecy Conference coming up this summer. This is SkyWatch TV for Tuesday, March 1st, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. But first, have you noticed that the world has gone mad? Told you yesterday about that nanny in Moscow who apparently decapitated a 4-year-old girl and carried her head around in public before police tackled her and took her in. Today we learned that Monday, a man in southern China walked into an elementary school and stabbed 10 children before killing himself. Now, I wish I could say that this was an isolated incident, but China's had a string of these elementary school stabbings in recent years. 2 years ago, a man walked into a school, killed 3 children with a knife before committing suicide by jumping off the building. In 2012, a man went into a school, stabbed 23 children. In 2010, nearly 60 people, students, teachers, and a security guard, were stabbed in 3 separate attacks. And then later that year, another man attacked students at a school with a hammer before setting himself on fire. In this latest report, the understatement of the year, the press account says the motive for the attack remains unclear. It's because they're not looking at the spiritual motive. Meanwhile, in New York, a woman finds a cooked horse head inside a box Sunday morning while walking through Highbridge Park. That's in Manhattan. The head was stuffed into a sealed Corona beer box along with fruit, vegetables, and some other animal bones, and a bottle of soda. Apparently, this was a box lunch of sorts. A visitor to another park in Manhattan that same day, Inwood Hill Park, stumbled across pieces of sheep and goat scattered around the park. Apparently, there have been more than a dozen mutilated animal carcasses scattered around New York City over the last couple of years, including a goat head pinned to a tree with its decapitated body in a red sheet on the ground, decapitated birds arranged in a circle on the ground, and a cow tongue full of needles stuck to a tree trunk. Apparently, the unofficial record in New York for cow tongues in trees is 15, found in Brooklyn back in 2009. Now, if you're thinking these are probably parts of some ritual, pagan ritual, you would be on the right track. A Yale professor of African American studies said this is unremarkable and that city dwellers shouldn't be alarmed. Now, police are still investigating the horsehead incident. The last horse meat processing plant in the U.S. shut down in 2009 or 2007. So this horsehead, if nothing else, was obtained illegally. And overseas, the demonic insanity that is the Islamic State just won't quit. After killing 80 people in 2 separate attacks around Baghdad on Sunday, another ISIS suicide bomber killed at least 24 people at a Shiite funeral northeast of Baghdad Monday. The attack targeted the funeral of a well-known member of an important tribe in the region. Also took out 2 commanders of Shiite militia groups. Officials in Baghdad are concerned this may set off a wave of violent reprisals against Sunni Muslims in Iraq, which may be exactly what ISIS wanted. Pretty powerful recruiting tool when you can offer protection against angry Shiites. And yet more evidence that the world has gone completely insane. This is probably not how you want to dress. Just a word of advice for you youngsters. This is probably not how you want to dress for your next job interview. Now, this gentleman is a convict in the state of Alaska, but apparently this tattooed eyeball thing is the hottest trend in body piercings, modifications, and so forth. Rejecting the image in which God created us. The trend began with a body artist who goes by the name of Luna Cobra. Mr. Moonsnake ejects pigment beneath the top layer of the eye. It is permanent, so he warns people considering this procedure to just think about how it might affect your personal relationships in the future. And what might seem like a good idea at the age of, say, 20, 21, might be a real problem when you're my age and you want your grandchildren to come sit in your lap. Of course, there's also the risk of infection, inflammation, and blindness. Well, in an upside-down world, of course, right is wrong, bad is good, and Hollywood always reflects those trends. The devil, hot this season, besides the new series on Fox, Lucifer, and the Outcast series on Cinemax. A&E Network debuts a new series next week based on the 1970s horror film The Omen, called Damien. The showrunner, Glenn Mazzara, says there is a renewed interest in the Antichrist because of a growing sense that we're living in the last days. He's got that right. And besides, he says the devil has always been sexy. Now, here in this image, you see protesters warning people that this isn't a topic to be taken lightly. They've been greeted by counter-protesters showing support for the show. And you'll notice the sign with the famous line from the movie The Omen, "It's all for you, Damien." Mazzara says that while Lucifer takes a comic approach to the topic, showing him as a nightclub owner in Los Angeles who helps police solve crimes because of ability to see the darkness inside men's souls, and of course, is Los Angeles, city of angels. Damien, he says, will take a more thoughtful approach to the topic and ask the question, can we stop it? We'll see how it develops, but just a word of advice, never, ever take your theology from anything that comes from Hollywood. Now, in real news, it appears Israel is rethinking its decision to buy America's fifth-generation fighter jet, our most advanced plane, the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. Back in 2008, the U.S. Defense Department approved the sale of 25 Joint Strike Fighters to Israel. That's a $15.2 billion deal. Well, after 8 years, it looks like buyer's remorse is setting in. Now, it doesn't help that the flight tests of the F-35 have revealed some problems, not just with its maneuverability in a test last summer against the 40-year-old F-16 fighter. You might remember we reported on this. The pilot of the F-35 said it was, quote, at a distinct disadvantage or energy disadvantage for every engagement, end quote, which was a nice way of saying that it can't turn, can't climb, can't run. It also has displayed a laundry list of quality issues. Around Washington, apparently the F-35 is known as the plane that ate the Pentagon, but they are committed to it. It will be the U.S. military's frontline fighter jet for the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Navy for the foreseeable future. The cost to the Pentagon so far, $400 billion. That's $400 billion with a B dollars, twice the original estimate. And we've told Israel that this is the only fighter jet that the U.S. government will allow to be sold. So I don't know about you, but when I'm in a car dealership and the salesman starts using tactics like that, I walk. We may know now why the Obama administration wants Apple to hack into the iPhone of one of the San Bernardino shooters. They've been making the case that this is necessary to help prevent future acts of terror. But as NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden tweeted last week, skepticism about the FBI's real motive is genuine, is fair. Now, the Wall Street Journal confirms that the Justice Department actually wants Apple to help investigators get into 12 more iPhones in unrelated cases around the country. And they're justifying it, as Sharon pointed out on Sci Friday 2 weeks ago, with a 1789 law called the All Writs Act, which is a very broad act that basically allows a loophole that a good lawyer could drive a truck through. The Wall Street Journal reports that people close to these 12 other cases say none of them have anything to do with terrorism. And furthermore, a friend of mine who is a retired physicist with some knowledge of encryption systems used by the intelligence community says that creating a means to get into and around this 256-bit encryption used by Apple on the iPhone would literally be an achievement that worthy of a Nobel Prize. And that once it was accomplished, and other mathematicians and cryptographers knew that it was possible, the achievement would likely be duplicated or stolen and put to use by other regimes far more oppressive than the United States government. Just keep this in mind the next time you hear a politician or a talking head on a cable news show arguing that Apple owes it to the U.S. government and its patriotic duty to break into that phone. And we shouldn't be surprised, because for all of the campaigning that President Obama did against the excesses of the Bush administration in compelling the big telecommunications companies like Verizon, Sprint, AT&T to cooperate with the NSA and its warrantless wiretap program, the Obama Justice Department has taken that program and built upon it, expanding it far beyond where it was during the Bush years. The New York Times reported over the weekend that the Obama administration is about to allow the NSA to share more of our private communications with other intelligence agencies without applying any privacy protections. This would effectively relax restrictions on access to the contents of phone calls and emails, including bulk collection of satellite communications, not just communications between foreigners, which is what the NSA is, under the law, only allowed to collect, but communications to, from, or about American citizens that the NSA's foreign intelligence programs collect by accident. Now, the NSA has been filtering data before sharing it with the FBI, CIA, and other counterterror agencies, but the new change would allow those agencies access to the raw data and then let them decide how to apply privacy protections. This is the culmination of 8 years' work on a change that was introduced in an executive order issued by President George W. Bush. One line in this executive order, which people didn't pay much attention to at the time, but the Obama administration has been working on how to implement this change since 2009, and they're close to issuing the final guidelines. And under the law, because this only applies to the executive branch, they don't need to go to Congress or to the judicial branch to get approval for this, because the data comes from collection methods that are not covered in the law passed by Congress in the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, which governs national security wiretaps. Big Brother is watching. Relax and let the hooks do their work. Well, the Rocky Mountain Prophecy Conference coming up July in Colorado Springs is a sellout. But if you weren't able to attend because you can't get the time away for the travel, or travel's expensive, there is a way for you to see and hear from all of the speakers in real time in the comfort of your living room. This year's conference will be live streamed, as have past conferences, and all the presentations will be archived for 45 days, so you can go back and watch them again at your convenience to really let the information sink in. Or if you're just not home on that Saturday, need to run some errands and miss a couple of the presentations, you can go back and watch them later. For information and to sign up, see the website of our friends at Prophecy Watchers, that, of course, prophecywatchers.com. This week on SkyWatch TV, we discuss the evidence for the existence of giants in the land and the cover-up of that evidence. Timothy Alberino, the director and expedition leader for the True Legends series of documentary films, joins us. Today being 2 for Tuesday, you can see SkyWatch TV twice today. If you're in Arkansas or the Memphis area, the Victory Television Network will have the program for you at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The Christian Television Network broadcasts it across the country on satellite TV at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow, the program airs on the Cornerstone Network across the country at 3:30 p.m. Central. And Saturday, the Victory Television Network, 3:30 p.m. Central Time, and the Christian Television Network, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And for a list of where you can see those channels, log on to skywatchtv.com. Look for the link in the top menu bar there for channel listings for times and places. And of course, our program is available now for you to watch at your convenience on our Roku channel. If you have not yet added the SkyWatch TV channel to your Roku account, log on to skywatchtv.com/Roku for complete instructions. Voting continues for the Telly Awards, the 37th annual Tellys. The documentary film Inhuman, the next and final phase of man is here, is nominated, and it's nominated in the People's Choice category as well. We're asking for your help to get the message out about the transhumanist movement. It is, in fact, a 21st century false religion. You'll find the link to vote at skywatchtv.com. It's the big menu bar, or the big banner right there at the top of the website. Click that link. That'll take you to the website for the Telly Awards, and we do thank you for your help. And you can help us with the click of a mouse as well. Click like, click share, click subscribe. Share that around with your social network and the things that I post to the web, Twitter, Facebook, my website right here. My email address, dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. Tomorrow, the election results in Iran. How will that affect its relationship to Israel and the West? Until then, thanks for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
From the time she was little, Nita dreamed of horses. Every childhood fantasy rode on the back of a heroic white steed, coming to save the day.
I don't know how long I've had this love in my heart for horses. It's just always been there. And when we were little girls, my sister and I would play all day long. I was always the white horse and she was always the little pink pig.
Let's pretend like
But everything changed in a heartbeat. On December 9th, 1971, a tragic car accident claimed the life of my dad and my best friend and my little sister. And I wondered after that if there was anything left to believe in.
Move aside, let the ambulance through. Please move aside.
As a child of 13, I felt like I had lost practically everything. And I wondered, is this it? I mean, where do I go from here? I could not have imagined back then how God could use horses, of all things, to restore my faith and vision for the future.
Starting April 19th, get your copy of Nita Horn's inspirational new book, No Fences, and learn for the first time her amazing story of loss, survival, determination, and healing. How the vision and love God gave her for these beautiful and majestic animals eventually led to the 150-acre Whispering Ponies Ranch, a general retreat facility, as well as a premier training location that specializes in using and gifting therapeutic animals to benefit the herding. Other care facilities, schools, and ministries across the nation.
When God puts something in your heart, it's there for a lifetime.